Welcome back. Kids, I got to talk to you. Um, I'm your fun Uncle John, okay? I'm 50 years old. I try to be your fun Uncle John. And I got to talk today about your not so fun uncle, Bill Maher. Bill Maher hates you. He hates, millennials. He hates Gen Z. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, and we'll discuss that here in a second. But he just hates your generations, and I think I know why. But I this is going to be painful, but you need to hear this. I mean, this is coming from love from your good Uncle John, your fun Uncle John, who understands you. Uh, so bear with me. This is going to be painful, but you need to hear this, okay?
Let other people work stupid jobs. Or you figured out a way to monetize. You and everybody else in your generation. According to the LA Times, content creators are the fastest growing type of small business in the U.S. By one estimate, over 50 million people now consider themselves to be online creators or influencers. When we used to ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? They'd say, firefighter. Almost, I'm famous, bitch. And I guess why not? The supposedly media-savvy millennials and Gen Zers really buy stuff just because some dung holds it up on Instagram. They laugh at boomers buying crap on QVC, but you're doing the same thing. Grandma's buying Tupperware, you're selling mascara. Suffering from dementia, what's your excuse?
So Uncle Bill here, he's pretty pissed. He's pretty upset that everybody wants to be a YouTuber or a podcaster. He wants you to go get a job being a plumber or an electrician or working at somewhere, like, as if those are the only jobs that are out there. Not really realizing that times have changed, society's changed. Right now, Elon's trying to make autonomous trucks, so we won't have truck drivers anymore. Right? There's a lot of things that you have to take into account that Bill's so ignorant about, that appliances don't last anymore nowadays. So instead of buying a $500, dishwasher, and then it costs $500 to have a repairman come out and fix it, you're just going to buy a new dishwasher. So those repair jobs are starting to go away. Same thing with refrigerators, washers and dryers, TVs. Back when I was a kid, a long, long time ago, and when Bill was, a kid a long, long time ago, TVs had tubes in them, and you had to have an electrician come out there, a TV repairman, and fix your TV. And back then, when TVs cost so much money and it was just cheaper to have somebody come out and fix it, that's what we did. But now, with everything becoming so inexpensive and so readily available, those jobs aren't necessary as much anymore. Except for like maybe having a heat and air person come out and fix your air conditioner. But for how many of you are living in apartments where you have a maintenance person to take care of that? Like, I don't understand why Bill is so stuck, and so many of these people are so stuck in 1950s. Because he will go on and tell you that, people in his generation, and even my generation, when we were growing up, when we were kids, what was the thing that we wanted to be? Because now today, a lot of kids want to be, do TikTok or YouTube or a podcast or whatever, some kind of social influencer. Well, that's what Bill does. Bill will drone on about how you want to be famous and be seen on TV when that's what he does. Bill doesn't want you gunning for his job. That's all this is. It seems like anybody who's over 50 or 55 years old, they're afraid that you're going to replace them for some reason, where like they should be, doing what you want to do. And that's what Bill is doing. I mean, he's very hypocritical of Bill to sit here and tell you about how you're stupid because you want to be on YouTube. And what has Uncle Bill done? Well, let's see what Uncle Bill's done here. Bear with me here.
product builder, or just someone with a cool idea, SignalWire offers APIs, SDKs, and even code snippets to help you make it a reality fast. Get cutting-edge video, voice, and messaging from the original geeks of software-defined telecom. Visit signalwire.com to sign up for a free account. Go to signalwire.com/random and what's next in real-time communications. Go to signalwire.com/random. Did you know there are currently over 2.4 million podcasts in the world, including the one you're listening to right now? And it takes a team of people to help bring these podcasts together. The team are invaluable, from the guy whose job it is to find Woody Harrelson's shoes, to the woman who made sure Chevy Chase driver didn't get lost, to the guy in the back who was recording. These employees Club Random get shit done. Needless to say, hiring the right PD's roles is important. And whether you're hiring for a podcast or business, there's only one place that makes, and now you.
So, do you see the hypocrisy there? Bill doesn't even want you to do, if you want to become an editor or a producer or, a camera operator, he wants you to do it for him, not for you. He wants to hire you and pay you a pittance versus you keeping all the money for yourself and you doing this thing. This is the future. Everybody, that is getting into editing and technology, you want to do podcast editing, video editing. There's a lot of jobs on Fiverr where people are making more money than they would if they were, working at McDonald's or being a plumber or doing any of these jobs. But don't do it for yourself. God, that's not the way we do things around here. You kids not understand that? You do it for me where I make all the money and you don't get hardly anything to live on. Back in his day, back in Bill's age, there was a time where you could live in a small apartment and make ends meet. But now, since the cost of living keeps going up and up and up, it's hard for people to do that these days. Back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and even the 90s, you could get a one-bedroom apartment for like $600 to $800. And whatever you were making back then, $10, $11, $12 an hour, you could kind of live off of that. You didn't have a lot of money for going out for, things like going out to clubs and, parties and things like that. But it's getting harder and harder for most people, not all people, but most people. So if you can do that, if you can make a living, and here's the other thing too, like he's talking about a very small percentage of people. It's not like 100% of all of you out there are doing this. A lot of you have regular jobs. A lot of us do. Right. And then this is kind of fun and, just extra income until it becomes something where it becomes big, like Charlie White over on Penguin ZO. He's got a huge YouTube following. He's got millions of subscribers. His videos get millions of views versus Bill Maher's show on HBO doesn't even get 1 million views on Friday nights. And now he's got even his clips on YouTube don't get that much from HBO. Because they show the air on Friday night, and then Saturday morning, HBO uploads it to YouTube, the majority of the show broken up into different clips. So why would you pay for an HBO subscription to watch Bill when you're going to be able to watch him for free on YouTube the next morning? I mean, just the insanity of this nonsense. That why is he doing this? Why does he care about what you want to be? Can you imagine growing up in the 50s and the 60s when he was younger? And he told his dad he wanted to be a stand-up comedian and an actor. Did his father give him hell? Well, that's ridiculous. You gotta do more. You gotta be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. I don't know if that happened to him. I know that a lot of parents looked down on those things back then. Like, that's not a living. Because when Bill was a kid, do you know what most kids wanted to be in the 50s if you would have asked them in the 50s and the 60s what they wanted to be? Gunslinger. He talks about astronaut and all that stuff. Well, there was no space program back then. And firefighters weren't adored the way they are now. So most kids back then, a lot of the young boys and young girls wanted to be, but mostly boys, wanted to be gunslingers. Because every TV show that was on when Bill was a kid was the Lone Ranger or something like that, the rifleman. So that's what they knew. That's what they saw. That's what they wanted to be. So just like today's kids, we see football. You want to be a football player. You want to be a basketball player. You want to do something because you're seeing that these people are making a ton of money. Back in the 60s and 70s and the 50s, football players didn't make the hand over fist money that they're making now. Baseball players, any, NASCAR drivers, Formula One drivers, they weren't the multi-millionaires and billionaires that they are today. So is it no wonder that, you would want those jobs? Who wants to take a job making nothing, especially with everything costing so much nowadays? And if you can make more money being, on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or whatever, good for you. You've won the game. You've played by the rules and you've gamed the system. Good for you. That's capitalism. No upfront cost. You don't even have to buy a high-end camera. You can start with your cell phone or your laptop. But you look at Charlie, and Charlie's estimated value is $12 million, and he's 28 years old. Like, he is winning, and Bill hates that. He does not want that for you. He wants you to serve him. He wants you to be a peasant, because he will drone on and on all the time on his show about us working stiffs. Yet this guy works one night a week, and then his podcast is just him getting drunk with stupid celebrities and getting high. Yet you're the dipshit for staying at home getting high all day. Yet that's what Bill does, and he's in his late 60s, early 70s. Talk about the definition of leisure life. Bill, look in the mirror. He's so afraid of getting old. That's so when I said, I know why, Bill hates you. That's it. It's fear of getting old, fear of not being popular anymore. He doesn't want you to become famous. He wants you to watch him, on TV. So while he's making fun of you for having your face on TV, he's got his face on TV. I mean, just the hypocrisy of that. Or when you look at people like Joe Rogan, over the last 5 years, Joe Rogan has told all of his guests and all of his viewers, start a podcast. Look at where Joe is today. Look at how much money he's making. And I know these are few and far between. It's kind of like winning the lottery. Not everybody gets famous. Not everybody gets a lot of views. But if you have fun doing it and you can make some money and you play the game right, and if you market yourself right and you're on all the right social media, brands will start wanting to come to you and promote and have you promote their products and pay you. And plus what you get from your views and everything else on all the other media places where you can monetize yourself. Why wouldn't you? He wants you to go take out a small business loan, go open up a bakery, and compete with the 30 million other bakeries around the U.S. today. And that's a losing proposition. You have a better chance of making it, big on social media. He's bitching about the people that are making, selling, makeup and stuff, or selling any kind of advertising. Yet on his Club Random podcast, which is a random disaster, it's just a bunch of drunks getting high. He is selling ads. He's doing ad reads. So he's got monetization coming in from that, plus whatever views he gets from YouTube. So it just kills him that so many of you out there are doing so much better than him when he was your age. But a guy who now, I guess he owns part of the Mets, and whatever other business, opportunities that he has that are available to him. Why would Bill, and I've talked about this before on a video that I did about Joe Rogan versus Bill Maher, who was the better conversationalist, when Bill first decided to come out with his podcast that he hates so much, of why would he not take his resources and his money to find young talent, to take somebody like a Charlie or take somebody else, who's up and coming, smaller people, young TikTokers who don't have the money to invest in, proper lighting equipment, proper audio equipment, visual, equipment. Why would he not invest that into them and start a production company? That to me would be passing things on to the next generation. But Bill doesn't want any of that. He wants to stay young forever. He's got Peter Pan syndrome. You know, he doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to have kids. He just wants to screw younger girls and smoke pot and get drunk all day. So don't muscle in on Uncle Bill's action or he'll come after you. Versus Fun Uncle John wishes you all the success in the world and whatever you want to be in life. Because there are plenty of YouTube educators. There are plenty of people in the medical industry on YouTube that have channels that are educating people. You know, nutritionists, fitness experts, you know, chefs, people that teach you how to sew. Anything you want to do is out there. And you can make money off of it. So this is heartbreaking to see somebody who Bill, who when he was younger was a little bit funnier, but now he's become cynical. He says he's a liberal, but he acts very conservative because he just wants to stay in 1952 for some reason. I don't know. I love you. I wish you the best of luck. I wish the best of luck to all of us out there, right? Because we're just trying to do something. We want control of our own lives. And we want to make money the way that we want to make it, doing something that we enjoy and have fun doing. So, Bill, I'm sad that you turned into the get off my lawn guy and you're the creepy old man who nobody wants to go into his yard once they've hit a baseball into it. So, although nobody's doing that anymore because they're all inside playing video games, according to you. So, I don't know. Kids, good luck. I have faith in you. Okay, so from Fun Uncle John, thanks for watching this episode. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time on the John Malone Show. Look at little Bill there in his cowboy outfit.